Oh, just Bergie's defeated sigh as he goes to turn on the camera.
Oh, we are live. I
Ah.
thought he failed at the live.
Good evening, Riveters, and welcome to another fun edition of Rivet Rivet Flash. I'm your host, Tritus. With me is Red and Didact.
What's up?
My defeated side came from the all the voice I'm going to have to squeeze out for the next 10 minutes as a chest burster might come out of my chest. Yeah.
Everyone's gonna die of something, Bird.
Not a chest burster. No.
yeah, one of those.
So, to jump right into the funsies, Didact, I hear you have a fan theory, or you're heard of a fan theory about Rick and Morty.
Yeah, so this surfaced on Reddit earlier today. It's the title of the video on YouTube is "Secret of the Ticket." It's a Rick and Morty theory. Goes along with the whole infinite worlds theory, where you make a choice and things can go one way, things can go another way. Kind of like how in Back to the Future, Biff gets a hold of the almanac, and it's either goes one way, which is Biff in 1984 with the post-apocalyptic Trump Tower bullshit going on, or nice 1984 where uh, Marty, God, losing it already. Marty blows up Doc's garage with the guitar. Anyways, infinite worlds theory. You make a choice. You're faced with a choice. Path A leads one way. Path B leads the other way. You make X choice, and not you makes Y choice. There's an infinite number of universes. And Rick and Morty kind of spawns off of that. So there are X amount of Ricks in the Y amounts of universe. Now there's what the theory basically states is that there's a finite amount of Ricks in the infinite universe. You see this in various episodes where Rick is trying to find a genetic match to either himself, to Beth, to Jerry, to Morty, to find different worlds to jump between. And what ends up happening is there's a specific character who, this is a bit spoilery, so if you're a Rick and Morty fan and you haven't seen up through season 2, certain characters die, but then are theorized as still being alive by the end of the season. The reason this is because the show pulls very minute Rick and Morty sleight of hand. So you'll be watching one Rick and Morty, there'll be a gathering of Ricks and Mortys, but through some happenstance, your Rick and Morty that you're watching has been replaced. So that you'll end up watching the X.
Fans have replaced Tritus, or
I suppose. Anyways, so you have these different Ricks, different Mortys going on their own adventures. So what that leads you to end up believing is that the Rick and Morty that you're watching throughout the show may not necessarily be the same Rick and Morty as a previous episode, or even a future episode. The whole show has kind of a continuity to it, but it's a very loose continuity, and you have to really look for it.
Well, and a couple of times they make that pretty obvious because they, like in one episode, they end up, of course I forget the episode, but they end up dying and then travel either back in time or forward in time or something like that to where they died and then just went and buried themselves.
Rick Potion number 9. So that's a season 1 episode. What happens is Morty is trying to woo this girl at school. Rick makes Morty a potion, love potion, and shit goes haywire. Everybody starts trying to kill him. Rick tries to fix it and ends up killing the planet. So Rick has to find a universe in which that Rick and Morty died, but while at the same time having it be completely fucking normal.
Mm.
So what happens is he finds a universe where they fixed everything, but they still died. So then he's able to take his Morty and replace that Rick and Morty that died.
Right.
And it's part of the whole universe hopping thing, but the video's in the link dump. But it explains a little bit more in depth. I'm still really confused by it. I'm slowly getting bits and pieces of it. But there's lots of intricate little pieces that Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland have put into this show that you would miss if it weren't for these very, very small but altering factors to the entire series.
Sure. It is a really clever series, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's great for the humor, but also if you're looking for a deeper story in a show, Rick and Morty is definitely the place to kind of look for that. If you want to just grasp at straws and make theories, Rick and Morty.
Where's the best place to watch Rick and Morty?
Best place to watch Rick and Morty is on the Adult Swim website. Otherwise, Hulu has through season 1 right now. Season 2 isn't out yet. I wouldn't expect season 2 to come out on Hulu until season 3 drops, and that's going to be later this year.
Word.
It's been on my list of things to start watching for a while, and I caught a couple episodes at a party a while back, and I was like, okay, I probably need to watch this. And then at Detour, we had that guy that came into the cosplay shoot and would not play a character, and I was like,
That was awesome.
That was great.
I mean, that is someone you can always just raise your glass to. He wanted to register as Rick Sanchez, and I forget how we talked him into providing us an email.
Use his alias. Yes, he had to use his alias.
Use his alias, a.k.a. hopefully his real self, because I'm sure we'll do awesome things with that picture.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that one. That's for sure. Love it. All right, you had a second thing.
I did have a second thing. So another thing that I saw on Reddit today. It's a cool little. So you guys remember back in the days of the N64, sitting on the couch with your buddies playing GoldenEye?
What are buddies?
By playing GoldenEye, I think you mean Nick slaughtering us all at GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that. But you all have fun memories of sitting on the couch playing multiplayer games, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Fond and rage-inducing memories.
I mean, you have to choose how to look at it.
No.
Anyways,
After therapy, we feel better about it.
There is
How to win and lose friends. That's true.
pretty much. So another thing that surfaced on Reddit today was a little Giphy of part of the commercial for a cool little thing that you can use on the internet and your phone called Air Console.
Like it.
So if you punch airconsole.com, AIR console, like video game console, .com into your browser, it'll pull up this website that will say, it'll have a start button. You click the start button, and what you'll have to do is you can either download the app or go to the same website on your phone, tablet, whatever. I've actually got the app, and it's actually free. But it gives you this little keypad on your device. So you take your little keypad and then you type in the code that it gives you on your screen. Once you do that, there is a library of games that are, some of them are knockoff games, some of them are little bit games. There is a Cards Against Humanity clone on this as well. That you can play little multiplayer games on your couch or, in front of your computer with your friends. And I believe you can connect up to 15 different devices at a time.
That's pretty cool. It reminds me of I'm trying to recall what version it is, but it's the game You Don't Know Jack.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah, you play it on the screen, and everybody has their phones, and then all your input goes from your phone to the game.
Yeah, I would really like if they implemented something like that. They do have a quiz game. I haven't really delved into that,
You could
but
probably Chromecast it, but I wonder what the delay would be like.
that
Yeah.
is, yeah, we could probably do that. The cool thing, though, is I did play a little bit of Cards Against Humanity by myself, and the game itself has a narrator,
Huh.
and it heckles you.
I love it.
So I'm sitting there playing by myself, and it's like, and the game is like, don't you have any friends? You really have nothing better to do?
Awesome.
I'm like, this is absolutely fantastic. I really wonder though if we could get it to work over Hangouts, because that would be cool to do as a stream, as a community stream.
Yeah, that would totally be worth testing. Red, put a pin in that.
The air console.
Yes. I like the crap out of that idea. Cool. That's worth digging into. I'll put a link in the show notes too for people to check that out. Like it. Cool. Red, what do you have for us?
Well, I've got a couple things. 2.5 things. I haven't got to look at the one thing that much. I discovered it right before we went live. But
2.5.
first couple things I've got. Local news. The Science Museum of Minnesota, one of our more famous tourist attractions, just over in St. Paul, about 30 minutes from where I am right now. They got a contract from NASA worth $14.5 million. That its goal is they're going to collaborate and try to get people more excited about STEM.
Sweet.
Science, technology, engineering, math. For those of you
Awesome.
not familiar with the acronym. And that's just awesome. I've honestly been meaning to get to the Science Museum more now that I live in the metro. And by that I mean I've lived here for 10 years. I should probably spend more time at the Science Museum.
I often think the same thing. I really need to get over to the museum more often.
Yeah.
I've always seen like a couple of exhibits over there, and I've lived here for 5 years. I need to.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. We have this amazing museum, and I never pop over there. That's cool.
And then in privacy news, there was a great victory in privacy today, and it was a really weird one. So back in I forgot the year. Back in
That's helpful.
1986, there was the Email Privacy Act that passed, and that law governed how the government could subpoena your email records. Now back then, your email usually lived on your computer. It would get delivered to someone's server, like your internet providers, but you would open up your email client, say Outlook Express,
Yeah.
and your client would go out to the server and download your email, and in the process, delete it from the ISP server. And the determination was made at that time that any email that was, I want to say, 3 months old or whatever, it was considered abandoned, as if you had a post office box and you just didn't go get your mail anymore. And then at that point, the government could get it without a warrant. It was like trash. Well, that concept stayed in play as email evolved, and that helped drive what we see now from Google and Microsoft, where they're encrypting your email at rest so they don't have to turn it over to the government.
That's
Because
awesome.
up until, and it's actually not really even official today, it's got to pass the Senate and then get signed by the president, but today if your data is left with a third-party provider for X amount of time, the government can, in theory, get access to it. In most cases, they don't. Most companies comply with the generally accepted theory of every time the government asks us for information, we tell you that we comply. And a lot of companies encrypt data at rest, so if the government does ask, they just get a messy hash that they can't do much with. But the bill that reformed that passed the House of Representatives uncontested. 419 to 0 was the vote in favor.
Fantastic.
And I wish we had more international fans because that's insane for our government. I mean, anyone that lives in the United States knows that, but the federal government can't do anything, especially anything that involves consensus. And to see the entire U.S. House of Representatives go, oh, yeah, that's the thing we should do.
Yeah, that never happens. You can't even get them to do all like ice cream.
Yeah.
Really fun way to fight that. But
Yeah.
kind of cool. You see, you have like a double whammy there. You've got an amazing bill that was passed, which that just needed to happen, but also that our entire government agreed that was a good thing. Shit.
Yeah. I mean, if it went through the House like that, there ought not to be very much resistance in the Senate.
Right.
And with that kind of legislative support, you know, I wouldn't categorize Barack Obama as a huge privacy advocate by any means, but I don't see why he wouldn't sign it.
Right.
And yeah, that's a huge victory, and that's
a no-brainer. That should definitely be signed. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then the third thing that I kind of discovered, there is a product called Hover, and I think we, as in Rivet City Limited, ought to try to request the beta. Now, I have a feeling it's a Google Glass type beta, where you can request to join the beta, you give them your proof of concept, what you want to do with the product, and then you get the privilege of buying the product from them early at a much higher price. But it's worth checking out. It is a high-def camera. It can do a 13 megapixel 4K video, and it hovers. It looks to be about the size of a small tablet. It folds up. You unfold it, and you throw it, and it starts hovering. I think you have to turn it on first, but it hovers.
It's just a pancake that just falls out of the sky. Just fuck you.
It's not a frisbee. Shit.
But it's not a drone. It's a robot, and you can tell it to like lock onto your face or lock onto your body, and the camera will follow you. And then you can pass it. So like for doing video presentations, like say you wanted to do a TED Talk on something, like that fucking camera.
Right.
You can get up there on a big stage and stream it live, right, from our little camera, and yeah, we talk back and forth, and then Bergie, here's your thing, wah, Didact, now over to you, wah, and we just toss it around the room.
Also,
in watching their promo video, it even seems like it might function reasonably well outside. I know one challenge with small aircraft of any kind is that wind is a factor. Like my little remote control heli that I brought to Detour, that thing can get knocked out of the sky when my furnace kicks in. So
right, yeah, they're super sensitive to that.
Yeah. But yeah.
That's interesting. I want to dig into that, and that's the website's gethover.com.
Yep. I threw that in the chat.
Yeah. Did a quick Google of that, and that's it looks like struggling to place the name of what I'm thinking of, but it's like two pieces of plastic, like multi-threaded plastic. It's like four little fans, and it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it a robot drone sandwich.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what it is.
Sandwich.
Anyway, cool. Well, we'll have that in the show notes. I got one thing this evening. I want to very briefly talk about SpaceX. they announced that they plan to debut the Red Dragon with the 2018 Mars mission. So what they're planning to do, they're shooting the Red Dragon, which is the name of the Dragon 2 capsule. They're going to shoot one of those guys to Mars with a full payload and attempt to land it. And they partnered with NASA to do this so that they can provide each other data and telemetry and all those things so they can safely land it. This announcement comes with with basically saying that this is the first step towards their manned missions. So this is basically the first stage on a multi-year plan to end up eventually going to Mars with manned missions. So it's super interesting. There's a lot of things that I'm taking out of it. But when I was reading the article, one thing I was thinking about was it's interesting to me that NASA just kind of it seems like though NASA has its own planned Mars missions eventually, they seem to be using SpaceX as a stepping stone to that. So they're recognizing this public entity NASA is recognizing that they need the private sector and the private space industry to really get to what goals they are, right? So I mean they're at a point. It's interesting, and they've been there for a while, but they're really coming out and saying now that we need to really be privatizing not just suborbital space flight, but actual extra or intergalactic space flight to Mars, to the moon, all that stuff.
Extraterrestrial spaceflight.
Extraterrestrial would be the better term for that.
Interplanetary.
Interplanetary.
That's the word you're looking for.
Inside our solar system.
Interplanetary, there you go.
And maybe outside. And then we talked last week about Starshot, which is...
Yeah, that's extrasolar.
Maybe extrasolar would be the...
That's extrasolar, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's extrasolar. Yep, extrasolar, because it's...
it's going to bother the crap out of me. I'm going to look this up later. But yeah, so that's really interesting. And I'm really curious to see where that's going to go. I was talking to a buddy the other day about all the theories and all the ways that we could be terraforming Mars, to make Mars basically another Earth. I know there's some speculation that Elon wants to do to detonate thermonuclear weapons over the poles and then have them melt and then start kind of creating an atmosphere that is in theory be able to be created in a couple of years. Whereas with terraforming technology that NASA and some other big people are talking about, which can take hundreds of years. I wonder about the implications of doing that, and I wonder if just creating the atmosphere covers all the things that we need, right? I wonder not only what that covers, but also what are the other things that we're going to have to figure out. And then
what happens to the radiation? I mean, if they're using nukes, if most of the water on the planet is now radioactive.
Right, and that's another problem, right? Like, how do they mitigate that? Plus, then how does that create? Like, I haven't dug into the science. I'd really like to, but how does something like that improve the already incredibly harsh environment that Mars has? And then how do you deal with its own orbit and its own issues with being further away from the sun and then getting extremely cold and extremely hot? But
fuck it, just go Cowboy Bebop on that shit.
Right.
Just take a crater, build a city inside the crater, give it its own ecosystem. We're done. That's all you got to do.
That's it. Or we'll just build a halo ring, and have that orbit Mars.
Just build a ring world.
Mm-hmm. Which,
I mean, if we, as a collective of people, if the world could get its collective shit together, build a ring world in the orbit of the Earth, that would be pretty cool. But it'll never fucking happen.
No, because we can't take 5 minutes and put down all our bullshit to actually accomplish something really good. That'll never happen. But at least NASA and SpaceX are doing something. Like that's like, I'll take that.
Yeah, well, and NASA giving to SpaceX is good because then we don't have to worry about, like, NASA's been struggling with funding for years.
Oh, sure, and that's
And
they're doing this.
with NASA yielding to all this private money that wants to do stuff in space, that means we'll still be doing stuff in space if NASA has $10 to its name.
Right, and they had to, right? I mean, there's the point that they're not getting even. I forget the percentages, but I mean, yeah, they did get a nice boost to their budget in the last couple of years, but it's not nearly enough to what they should be having and what they really need. So it's good that they're finally just saying, well, piss on you, government. We're just going to work with these guys who actually want to get out there, right?
The F-35 is far more important.
Oh yeah, that giant pile of shit. But anyway, so that's my like completely weird rant on 5 different directions on that. I'll put that in the show notes. That's all I have for this week. We had an amazing time at Detour. Really excited for new cons out there. You'll see an update from us regarding Detour and some reviews in the pretty near future. Otherwise, the next con we'll be at is 2D Con. I don't believe we'll have a party room there, but we're talking about having a panel there. So, but at the minimum, we'll at least be there. So
yeah,
we'll be present. We will be present. And then we are talking about doing a party room at Anime Fusion at the end of this year. So look forward to that. Near the end of this year. Other than that, that's what I have for this week. You guys have anything else?
What are we starting next week, Bergie? What's kicking off next week?
So, cover this in the last flash. I'll cover it again. So, next week we are starting off our official streaming schedule. So, all of next week and the preceding weeks after that, we will have a lockdown schedule of each of the 5 of us streaming various games. Monday, I'll be streaming Smite. And then, you guys want to go through what you'll be streaming?
Yeah, so you're Monday. Dylan, you're Tuesday, aren't you?
That's correct.
What are you doing?
Tuesday, at least right now, I just bought the Handsome Collection for Borderlands. It was on sale, too, when I got back from Detour, so...
Dude, I'm fucking playing with you.
Hell yeah,
like,
dude.
I'm going to be modding your stream and playing with you at the same fucking time.
Well, and the aiming on there is really weird, and I'm still kind of getting used to it. I started playing a little bit.
It has really good aim assist, but the recoil is insane.
Yeah. I'm on level 2 right now, or my character's level 2 or 3 right now. I played a little bit right after I finished downloading, and then I got distracted on some other stuff.
Are you playing pre-sequel or 2 right now?
Pre-sequel.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna try starting with that. I picked it out because I feel it's relevant. It's something that's going to be entertaining, even if I'm still kind of trying to get into the streaming world of stream. So I'll play that. I feel like the new player experience might be useful to some.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and if not, you can watch Didac do far better than I do.
Save your ass with Claptrap over and over.
Okay, there you go.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, and then Tritus and Warren Fargo this weekend. You need to remind me to stop at GameStop and buy a headset and camera.
Get yourself one of these.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking about. Because I've got some credit at GameStop, so I'm gonna use that.
If they don't have it, Target does.
Sweet.
Rock and roll. And then Didac, what are you streaming?
So on Wednesday, which is one day removed from Tuesday.
It is.
What day is Tuesday? The 3rd. Why is that date important? Fucking Battleborn comes out on Tuesday. So, yeah, I'm gonna be playing Battleborn pretty hardcore.
Nice.
I did. Was it 2 weeks ago? I did the open beta streams. and it was a ton of fun. And I'm itching to get back into it and play more. So I'm going to primarily be playing that, at least on my scheduled stream day. I'm going to be playing that. Otherwise, depending on what Andy does, he's Thursdays. What Snell does.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what he's doing. I think he's doing. He's probably going to start off streaming WWE.
Mhm.
So there's going to be that. I don't know what else he might be doing. Maybe Yu-Gi-Oh. Because I know him and I have both been playing that recently.
Gotcha.
And then on Friday we have Wolfpaw closing out the week. She's still deciding what she wants to do. Might just start off playing Infinity, unless she's going to go the creative route and do something completely different.
Yeah. We've thrown ideas back and forth on that, so yeah, we'll figure something out.
And hey, if this Air console thing kicks off, we could maybe do community play days on the weekends, or get everybody together like this and do stuff like that.
It's definitely worth a shot. We should, Red and I will sit down and figure out how that would work. So that's definitely a good idea. I like that. Cool. So yeah, we're doing that. We're gonna be doing that weekly, every Monday through Friday, constant streams. We'll have a stream schedule on the site. I'll probably put that on the side somewhere, so everybody will be able to see that. But check us out on the Twitch channel, be twitch.tv/Rivet City Limited. So you'll find us all there. Otherwise, we'll also have it plugged in on the site, so you'll be able to tell when we're streaming, and we'll also post on the social media.
Yep. And then just to clarify, it'll actually be hosted. The streams will be hosted on the Rivet City site. Otherwise, we'll be on our own personal channels.
Correct.
So there'll be links on the Rivet City page that'll go directly to each individual streamer.
Right, and we'll be able to see at the Rivet City page the stream itself.
Yep, that too.
Exactly. So cool.
Great.
Rock and roll. Other than that, for videos, we had to indefinitely shelve the Warcraft film due to some issues with the props that are going to be in the video. We want to make sure that everything's done to quality and make sure everything's going to work. So we're going to postpone that until I know for certain everything's going to be good to go. Then we'll schedule a shooting date, and then we'll get everything knocked out for that. In the meantime, we're going to be doing a couple other creative things. I want to knock out a video here in May, and I want to start working on another big video in June, and I want to start filming a short pilot for a web series here in at least the next week or so. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna put an update for that out coming soon. So cool. That's all I have.
That's all I got.
I'm really sleepy. I promise I have more energy next week.
All right, sounds good.
Probably have more coffee. Coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Awesome coffee.
Us? Oh, don't talk about coffee.
Speaking of that, we can do it after we go off air. But I have something on that front with the awesome coffees. Alcohol.
All right, Rivers. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.